Greatest franchise Rockstar abandoned. What is these? 30 minutes. God damn.
If you hang around the same kind of gaming circles I do.
Also, too, you got me fucked up because no cap. I seen a video of Biggie Smalls. I seen like they screenshotted his eyes. And listen, gang. Money will make you get no cap. R.I.P. My was cockeyed in the mud, bro. Like real, bro. Real, bro.
The older I get, I realize this new generation has it easy. Especially with how crazy Twitter is nowadays. Y'all don't know about the World Start Work compilations. Y'all wasn't outside footwork team.
Listen, we already talked about this. See, you ain't been in the streams. Yo, that was a crazy time on the internet, bro. Crazy time. Runchy, yo, rest in peace to him. I mean, with no disrespect, but I ain't never seen no eyes like that.
There's one company that you likely hear about far too often, and that is Rockstar Games. Nowadays, Rockstar is known for a lot of things, making some of the greatest and best-selling games of all time, especially in the 2000s, and making some of the most influential games of all time, while eventually slipping into complacent and recycled designs, little to no new and innovative releases, and in many cases putting way too much emphasis on microtransactions. But if those complaints sound familiar, it's because those are also the complaints many have had with gaming in general over the last decade.
We'll be watching this is the greatest franchise Rockstar abandoned, bro. I think it's gonna be a cool video.
I see a particularly strong parallel between the plight of Rockstar and that of racing games. Actually, around the time many consider to be the peak of both, Rockstar made their own racing game. And for a time, it was arguably the best one on the market.
Hey, on God, look, I'm gonna pause it right now. I swear to God, I never play racing games. Y'all, you can ask anybody that's been around here. I always say I don't play racing games. Low key, I said the other day, I want to play a racing game. I think Runchy was up in there. Like, I don't know if I want to play it on stream. I just want to play a game where I can get like muscle cars and race them. On God, bro. And I just looked up this Midnight Club the other day, I promise, bro. I was about to play the first one. Ricky told me not to do it. This is goated, bro. This is goated.
Trey, I'm in my mansion with all the potatoes.
Why that shit going with the beat?
Let's start at the beginning.
Why was that going with the beat?
Not of Midnight Club, but of the people who made it.
I'm done with GTA yet, right? Yeah, I just
Angel
downloaded
Studios
GTA
was
4,
formed in 1984
but I'm not playing
for
it
the
no time
purpose of
soon.
making and progressing the field of 3D computer graphics, primarily in different forms of media like films, music videos, and eventually video games. They started with animated music videos and advertisements for various clients, but eventually expanded to the world of video games, working on such legendary titles as Echo: The Tides of Time, Ken Griffey Jr.'s Slugfest, and my personal favorite, Mr. Bones.
Has no body, and I have no skin. Oh, ho, it could work out. It could happen.
Oh, you old lecherous bastard, you.
But after working partially on titles for various developers, they got the attention of Microsoft and were partnered with them to make Midtown Madness, an open-world racing game set in Chicago, which was a novel concept in the world of racing games at the time, both having an open world that the player could explore and eventually learn well enough to find the best routes to win races in, and to have that map be based on a real-life location, although heavily simplified. It also did fairly well critically and commercially, which drew the attention of Rockstar Games, a then new publisher recently acquired Take-Two Interactive. In the late 90s and early 2000s, Rockstar was sucking up studios left and right to work on games for them. The two most notable being DMA Design Limited, creators of the GTA franchise and later renamed to Rockstar North in 2002.
No, I'm not trying to pause it.
Diego, creators of the Red Dead and Smuggler's Run franchises.
I'm not trying to
Although
pause it,
before
bro.
being bought and renamed by Rockstar,
It's on 30
they
minutes.
did finally get to iterate on the ideas laid
I ain't
out
gonna lie,
in
low-key.
Midtown Madness.
I might 30 minutes kind of crazy. 30 minutes kind of crazy. I might get out of here.
In the early 2000s, tuner culture
It's on
began
too
springing
long.
up across major cities in the
I
U.S.,
might get out of here.
mainly taking inspiration from the design
Hey,
of
bro.
performance
300
enhancements of
Japanese
Japanese
talking too
tuners
slow.
and shops
For
from
24
around the same
months.
time.
Trey was
Seeing
good,
this
Trey
trend
so
steadily
demon.
increasing in popularity,
Yo,
Angel
Jordan, what's
Studios
good, bro?
made their
Appreciate
next
you.
racing game focused on this rising subculture. And
I
in
ain't gonna
November
lie. He talked too slow. This is a video I watch on my own. Chat. You know what it is? I don't mind watching a 30-minute video, though. I'm not one of them dudes with no attention span. But I just don't think this is a good one. We chilling? Do a prediction? All right, yo, I'm selling. No. All right. Do the prediction? All right, man. Come on.
for 2000,
Hold on. These pauses don't count. Take that out. These pauses, I only pause it one time. But I'm gonna keep this rocking, and I'm a pause when it's genuinely time. I'm a pause when it's genuinely time. Bro, them don't count. Them don't count. No, they don't. Yo,
we got
Midnight Club.
them don't count, bro. Only one. It's the only one. Thank you, Rich.
Now, I know this game is very important in the development of open-world racing games going forward, and at the time, this was
only
received
one.
pretty well by critics and consumers, but it has not aged well. I'm not even saying it's necessarily bad,
This hoe
just
look
very
trash.
primitive and outdated. The main gameplay loop consists of you finding a driver to challenge,
Somebody
having to
call
follow
us.
the driver to the exact opposite end of the map you found them on. Thankfully, the maps aren't that big, and then beating them in a race. You can then either call them to
I know
challenge them
back
to a
then
pink
this
slip and get a
was
better
fire.
car, or repeat the previous process to progress the game further.
I
This
know back
idea
then this
in and
was
of
tough.
itself is fine, but it's how it's
Speed up to
executed
1.5?
that
I
makes
bet.
it, at best, inefficient, and at worst, actually annoying. The characters
damn,
themselves
hold
don't
on.
bring much to the table, although they do bring a signature feature that Midnight Club games would have in every main installment going forward. That is, the racers themselves would talk to the player during the race.
I think they want your autograph.
This adds some character to the opponents that the game desperately needs, as the character everywhere else is sorely lacking. The music in the game is okay, and pretty decent
Hey,
for
no
my drum
cap.
and
To
bass
all
and
the
trance
that got
out
the
there.
under,
Sorry,
when
I'm
we
not
get
one
the
of them.
double
I'm
disc,
really
y'all might be
Italo
screwed,
disco
bro.
and house kind of guy. Although
Y'all
the
might be
music,
cooked, I'm being
the art
honest.
direction and graphics really don't hold up all that well. The art direction is sparse, with the menus and general design of the game being very basic and arcade machine-like. Graphics just don't look that good for a game from 2000. Because this is
I'm
what
to
Ford
be
Racing
genuine.
and NFS Porsche Unleashed looked like at the time, and if you think it's unfair to compare it to PC games, here's Test Drive Le Mans and Metropolis Street Racer running on the Dreamcast, a less powerful console. In comparison, Midnight Club 1 looks surprisingly flat and blocky. The racing itself also isn't that engaging either, as the opponents don't really challenge the player with their racing ability, but that doesn't mean this game is easy.
Yo, shout out to
Very much
Ricky.
the
I
opposite,
promise
actually.
you, I was
The
just about
Midnight
to
Club
download
games
this
as a
game
whole have
yesterday, bro.
quite a
Ricky told me
reputation
not
for
to get
being
it.
very difficult, and the first one is no exception. The racers
said do not
themselves
play
have
that
spatial awareness of the player, so they are very likely to push you straight off the road or into buildings. The traffic AI have the same lack of awareness, so they will very often drive directly into you, and the police
That
exist.
sound like Midnight
Yeah,
Clubs.
you'd expect police to be more of a contributing factor to the game's difficulty, but surprisingly no. They only appear in certain events and usually don't impact a race result outside of maybe slowing all the drivers down for a moment. The driving actually has more of an impact on the difficulty than the police do, as the physics feel very weird coming from more modern arcade racers. The key to racing well in Midnight Club is managing your momentum, and I'll give you 3 main tips for this. 1, your car's forward
giving
momentum,
tips?
unlike every other racer, isn't based on your car's forward momentum. It's based on how fast the transmission is spinning. And I worded that very specifically because what I mean is, if you're going 90 miles per hour and then you slam into a
giving
wall on your
inside
side,
tips on this
you're going
game?
to start accelerating faster than if you were to hit it from a dig. This can be used to your advantage when taking corners in cars with worse handling, but it can also lead to this.
Ivith Eden just resubscribed for 30 months. Big 30 Trey so big. How are you mentally? I hope all is well. Keep grinding and
2,
being
the
authentically
handbrake is your
yourself,
best
Trey.
friend.
No
Almost
matter
Yo,
all
what,
the
I
cars are
continue
appreciate
doing
doing
what you love,
immensely,
young boy.
and because of what I said before
Also,
about
Trey
momentum,
so
your
big
best
self
solution
squad
in many
and fuck
cases is to rip the
community.
handbrake and
Many
slide into
blessings
the
to
turn,
you, Trey
making it
Trey,
way
so my
easier.
guy.
And 3,
I appreciate
this
it, man.
game
Thank you
can
for the good
be
message.
a
Thank you.
bit inconsistent with its physics. For a while, I thought this game had functional mechanical damage, but
God.
that's just because of moments like this. This was not fun for me, but that doesn't mean you might not have fun with it. More than a few people talk positively about this game, and from what I've heard, the multiplayer and arcade modes are actually pretty good fun. I wouldn't know, I never owned the game physically, and I'm playing this on an emulator alone in my room.
Oh, I
but
thought
2 years after Midnight Club Street Racing, Rockstar would buy out Angel Studios and rename them to Rockstar San Diego. And a year later, they released their first title under the new name.
Months.
Yo, King, thank you. Pause withdrawals? No, nigga. Hold on. We getting close. I didn't play 2. I ain't played 2.
Midnight Club 2 improves on the original in basically every way. To start,
I
the
think I
game
remember
looks
seeing
way
magazines
better
of
across
this
the
shit.
board, both in-game and in its presentation with the menus, the visual atmosphere, and the music being leagues ahead of where it was in the first game. It also has a lot of character to its characters, both by increasing the number of unique characters you interact with from 6 to 28, and also giving each one of them a unique animated FMV cutscene before and after each race, as well as having more dialogue during the races. You'll run into such kooky characters as the average Frenchman, American stereotype, and woman, all of whom think they are the coolest person to walk the earth. That is, until you beat them and they try to sound cool while they give you the keys to their car. Speaking of the races, this is where things get really interesting. As some of you may know, Midnight Club as a series has a history of being ball-crushingly difficult. That history started here, because Midnight Club 2, with few exceptions, is the single hardest racing game I've ever played. Now, those of you that haven't played it before may be questioning why that is.
Yo, if
See,
I do
since
double
Midnight
this
Club
as a
is
walkthrough,
and
bro,
always
this shit
has
gonna be
been
hard
firmly
as
an
fuck,
arcade
bro.
racer, its difficulty doesn't necessarily
I'm
come
super
from its
trash at
physics.
racing games.
Well, it does, but I'll get to that. So its difficulty doesn't necessarily come from hyper-realistic physics. So where does it come from? Here, I'll give you an example. Midnight Club 2 doesn't feel difficult to drive like this.
Because he lost in the final.
Or even this.
6 right of a dip, opens keep middle of a jump, 18, flat right into 6 left, extra long, opens double 1.
It feels more like... Midnight Club 2 likes to throw so much random bullshit at you, to the point that some events, no, scratch that, some specific races can take hours just to beat. This comes from many different factors and also comes in 3 distinct levels, which you experience in each of the 3 different maps in the game. Los Angeles is a good starter map. It familiarizes you with the intricacies of the handling and the game's mechanics, while also giving you a slight taste of the difficulty. LA is a good teaching ground for how the game functions. Like how the AI traffic cars have zero regard for human life, both yours and their own, so they will actively drive into you if you're coming up on them in front of an intersection.
Oh my God.
Making them officially the most annoying character in gaming history to never say a single word. You also learn quickly that on tracks where you don't have to hit the checkpoints in a set order,
Sounds like an
the AI
amazing
usually
walkthrough.
pick a pretty good route, but they don't always pick the best route, which massively increases the player's sense of freedom and accomplishment when they take a route that none of the other racers thought of, and it ends up being quicker. That'll come in handy a lot when you leave LA and move on to Paris. Paris is where the game starts really cooking with the difficulty. The AI become both faster and more sporadic, the traffic seems to be 3 times denser than in LA, which I don't think is accurate, and the map itself becomes much tighter, much more dynamic in terms of setting and structure, and also has more changes in elevation than LA, making it a much trickier beast. Paris is really where the game starts to test the player in every way. It's where you find out how good you really are at racing games, and also find out if you unfortunately have been diagnosed with scoliosis,
I'm just listening and watching,
making it nigh impossible to progress if you just
I ain't play this shit.
But if you manage to beat everyone in France, you can finally move on to the game's final area, Tokyo. Tokyo is where the game says, okay, you've had your fun, time to die. Tokyo races are legitimately some of the most difficult races I've ever done in a video game before.
Oh nah, bro, that
like
shit.
GT2 Mission A4, the North American version.
Bro, who remember when I was playing that Mafia mission?
Underground
on the
1
Mafia
Hertz Killer
walkthrough?
Ride.
And you had to do that stupid
F1
fucking race.
Williams
Oh
only
my
Monaco
God,
on
that race is
110
hard
difficulty?
as fuck.
Nah, Tokyo's harder. Actually, no. Tokyo starts out not that
He not
bad,
lying, but it was
'cause
fun?
the first couple races are actually easier than the last few in Paris. But then you get
I ain't
introduced
hear
to stuff
you a
like the
liar.
backtracking checkpoints, the bus blockade, and whatever this
That race is
is.
easy? Yeah, all right.
All of which combine with faster AI, longer races, and even tighter streets, which make this exponentially harder. And the final race...
Who the fuck is
like,
that?
Here, this is the layout
Your
for
name
the first
Sabo?
race against the Paris champion. Looks simple enough, right? Well, it took me 35 minutes to beat, and somehow longer than the second race. Alright, this is what the final race against the world champion looks like.
Mafia 2, no, Mafia 1.
Actually, because I never had this game growing up, and because I wanted this video to come out in a reasonable time, I am still yet to face the final boss, Savo. So, if you do want to see that,
nigga?
I guess I might do it on stream if enough people really want to see it.
Hey, you should have put in the video,
immense
Nick.
difficulty, in terms of premise, this game really isn't all that different from Midnight Club 1, as in, it takes all the ideas from Midnight Club 1 and actually does them well. Although, there were some new additions, like the online mode, which was a first for the series, although the servers were taken down in 2014. And the game being released on both PS2 and Xbox, and also PC, which, weirdly enough, this would be the only Midnight Club
Y'all let that nigga drop 35 and 14
which I think is really unfortunate because I would have
here.
loved to have played this next game natively on PC.
Get the fuck out of here. Oh, what? I thought bro was gonna pause. Wait, which one was this?
Midnight Club 3 was another.
That's not a pause. I can rewind. Dumbass niggas. Dumbass niggas. Dumb edition. Talk to me!
Midnight Club 3 was another massive step up from its predecessor. As much as those who might think that Midnight Club 2
That's
was
not
the
a
best
pause.
disagree with me, I think the jump in quality from Midnight Club 2 to 3 was almost as big as the jump from 1 to 2. And although there are many factors that contributed to that progress, I'd say the biggest one was the shift in focus for the game.
Oh man,
if I were to
fuck.
sum up
I ain't
Midnight
gonna lie,
Club
y'all niggas
3
might
in
be in
one word,
trouble.
it would be freedom. Not just because this is the only Midnight Club solely to be set in America, no, I didn't forget you,
If you don't,
but
if
also
you-
because
if you
every
don't talk
part
about
of
the
this game
cause-
gives the player more choices and
Oh,
freedoms
fuck.
on how they want to tailor their experience to their preferences.
Listen.
This is immediately noticeable in the career progression, with the player being given the choice of several different categories of car, all with their own unique characteristics.
Listen. The customization in this fucking game, nigga. Oh my God, nigga. Bro, I would spend so long in this hole just trying to make sure my car look fire, bro. This fucking game is him. Bro, I don't even play racing games, bro. When I got this shit, my nigga, dog, this shit was fire, bro. And then, like I said, this is the game that made me like start to realize, like, it's not even realize. I don't know, for some reason, I just gravitated towards, like, I didn't like the tuners or the turners, whatever the fuck them shit is. I never liked the drift cars in them games. I'm like, man, all them hoes is ass. But coming to find out when I get to the internet, I realized niggas like y'all fuck with those cars. Every time they gave me one of them cars, I hated them bitches. But when every time I got one of the muscle cars and shit, those was my shits. I fucked with them.
As well as events limited to just that type of vehicle, like tuners, muscle cars, luxury sedans, various kinds of bikes, etc. And the game lets you choose between random races dispersed around the map, specific rivals that, when beaten, will allow you to challenge specific car clubs that race a certain type of car, and championships, which usually allow the player to win a new type of car and expand their garage's variety. And variety is something this game has a lot of in both event types, adding a new one to the series in the autocross and track events, basically restricting the player to a track racing style street circuit where they're either racing against the clock or against other players directly. I actually used to think this was one of the hardest event types growing up, but coming back to it now, it's actually one of the easiest. They also added something new to help players in more difficult events, that being special abilities in the form of Zone.
Oh yeah, Zone was fire!
A sort of matrix-like slowdown effect obtained by driving clean in a race and limited to tuners, exotics, and sport bikes. Aggro.
I got you through this. I forgot what aggro
an effect
did.
that makes every car around you crumple the moment you drive into them, which you refill from smashing objects on the roadside,
I'm cool
and
on
which is
aggro.
limited to SUVs and luxury sedans.
Hey, what special
and
effects
Roar,
y'all use? Oh, Roar was
which is
fire!
sort of like a shockwave disrupting all the cars and traffic
Roar
around
was a
you,
cheat
which you
code,
refuel by
nigga.
drifting and is limited to just muscle cars and choppers.
As soon as they got close, hit the
Another
Roar.
area where the player freedom
You
is
gotta
reinforced,
hit it.
and this is a big one,
Gotta
was in
hit
the
it.
customization. They were all in on making a very in-depth customization system, as they went from only being able to change the color of your car in Midnight Club 2 to having the choice of 20 different bumpers, side skirts, and spoilers, the ability to install a carbon fiber hood, tons of rim options, different tire styles and profiles, the ability to adjust suspension heights and tire dimensions, a paint livery editor, the ability to paint your exhaust, and a bunch of other stuff that's way too long to list. But suffice to say, this was a very in-depth customization system for its time that even some modern games are still missing elements from. I can tell they were definitely gunning for Need for Speed Underground 2 in terms of the depths that they go to get that kind of customization. And in my opinion, they arguably do it better.
I was
than
wanting to
Underground 2
play
did.
Need for Speed Hot
This
Pursuit
game
though.
also changes from Midnight Club 2 and how it handles
I was gonna be
difficulty.
playing those on my own
In that
off stream.
game, more than a few races could take an average or even a skilled driver a dozen attempts before they could beat it. In this game, most events would take a fraction of the number of attempts to beat. Not saying the events were easy, just that they were less random and a little bit more predictable.
What the fuck?
And when you did screw up, it was often much easier to recover from. This lower difficulty, combined with the fact that there were more races in Midnight Club 3 than in 2, meant that the player felt like they were making a lot more progress than in 2. Like in my case, while playing through both of them for this video, I would often spend much longer in one given session on this than I would MC2. Not only because of the more straightforward progression, but also because of everything around it, like the game's immaculately crafted atmosphere. Like I mentioned earlier, this was the only Midnight Club game to take place fully in America, except for the Tokyo campaign that was on the remix, but I'll get to that in a minute.
Nigger. That little bit of aura you had is gone. You'll be pressure washing driveways in 2024.
What the fuck you want me to drive, a tuner? I don't want them weak ass fucking looking cars,
much longer in one given session on this than I would MC2. Not only because of the more straightforward progression, but also because of everything around it, like the game's immaculately crafted atmosphere. Like I mentioned earlier, this was the only Midnight Club game to take place fully in America, except for the Tokyo campaign that was on the remix, but I'll get to that in a minute. And this game really feels like American car culture, and to an extent culture in general, circa 2005. The music was finally more varied, with rock, rap, reggae, and electronica being the notable genres represented, with the hip-hop tracks in particular taking center stage in this game, especially the crunk and Dirty South producers of the 2000s. I actually really like this aspect in particular, as it relates to me being right in the middle of the heartland of these kinds of rappers and producers. While Midnight Club 2 felt like going to a rave in a Western
I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm gonna pause when I see fit.
Midnight Club 3 felt like going to an Atlanta club and turning up till 4 in the morning. And speaking of Atlanta, it featured as one of the game's 3 cities, with it being the music and car culture center of the game, San Diego being the representation for the West Coast scene, as well as ground zero for tuner culture in the late 90s, and Detroit, the home of the American automobile. This game also made these cities look great for 2005, and as a whole, the menus and visual presentation really tied the game together. This game also was the first Midnight Club to get a port for the PSP, featuring nearly all the same content as the original, although to get all of that content onto a portable device, they had to downgrade the graphics, make the frame rate not necessarily consistent, and make the load times longer than it takes me to make a video.
Hey, chill, bro. Despite this, we wasn't tripping on that back then, though. We wasn't tripping on that back then.
Not sure how that happened. Although a year after the main release, we did get Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition Remix, which was an updated version of the game which featured more cars.
Dub Edition is him. This is what I've been waiting on. Hey, all y'all niggas, I'm sorry. I'm going to pause when I see fit. This fucking game, bro, when I got this, I don't know how I got this game. I don't remember buying it, but somehow I got this fucking game. And boy, I was like, I see why people was talking about this. This fucking game is good as shit, bro. The soundtrack, nigga. The first song, chat, what's the first song that come to mind when you think of this game? I'm going to play mine. I remember sitting in my fucking granny living room, nigga, and them tracks just kept bumping back to back to back to back in that bitch, bro. Dog, bro. Fam, that song, bro, this game is him, nigga. This game is a fucking hit, bro. Let's go, bro.
More customization, more music, and even a new Tokyo Challenge progression, which let you race a slightly updated MC2 Tokyo map, and eventually rise up the ranks of Tokyo's street racing scene.
I don't remember doing
that. This would also be my introduction to the series on Xbox in 2006. I even still have my original copy right here.
I gotta buy it.
Scratched up.
Just for the culture, I
gotta
buy it.
From all the time I put into it, because this was genuinely one of the greatest racing games I played at the time, and it still holds up amazing today. If you haven't played Midnight Club 3, I highly recommend you try it out, whether that's getting a physical copy or emulating it like I have here.
$25? We own it.
But along with Midnight Club 3, I would also recommend getting its successor, because in some ways, it might be even better.
This game don't get enough love, bro.
The game.
Hey, this game don't get enough love, bro. The online on this game, boy.
In mid-2004, EA bought out the British game development studio Criterion Games, who
it don't get enough
were
love,
mainly
bro.
known in the public for their recent Burnout games, which were a mix of arcade racing and car combat destruction derby style carnage. But behind the scenes, they were very well known in gaming in general.
Wouldn't Soul survive on this game?
Engine.
No, it was
now,
put on.
That name may sound familiar to you.
Oh my
but
god!
In case it doesn't, Renderware was one of the most powerful and popular game engines that developers built their games on in the early to mid 2000s. You had Burnout 3 Takedown, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, The Incredibles, Manhunt, Battle for Bikini Bottom, Dragon Ball Online, Frogger Ancient Shadow, COD Finest Hour,
Get the fuck out of here, Frogger!
NBA Ballers, Hez Soccer Rayman Garfield. Basically, If you played more than 3 games during the early to mid-2000s, you probably played something running on renderware. And the reason I bring this up is because some of the most notable games to be made with this engine were those from Rockstar. Namely, Bully, the first Manhunt, and the first 3 3D GTA games.
Oh my god, it's a W engine, nigga.
Rockstar relied heavily on this engine to make some of their best games.
That's a W engine.
After EA bought the rights to both Criterion and their engine, Rockstar decided they had to stop using an engine that was now owned by one of their competitors. But instead of licensing a different engine from another company, they decided to make it completely in-house. And after some deliberation, they decided to take the Angel game engine, which Rockstar San Diego had been using, and rebuild it to turn it into the Rockstar Advanced Game Engine, or the Rage engine for short.
I remember hearing about that.
This would go on to be Rockstar's primary development engine going forward, with Max Payne 3, GTA 4, and 5, and both Red Deads being developed using this engine. Although before it became Rockstar's driving workhorse, its creators got to test it out on their best franchise.
What the fuck happened to Rockstar, bro? They got money hungry, bro. And I get it. The goal is to make profit, but fuck. Oh my god, LA was him, bro.
Midnight Club Los Angeles was the first Midnight Club to be made for 7th gen consoles, and was also the 3rd game to use the new Rage engine after a table tennis test game and GTA 4. And you can really see that power on display because even today, this game still looks great. Or at least looks like it came out at the end of the 7th gen rather than only 3 years in. Side note, this weird dithering effect and the fact that some of the daytime footage has weird green and red lighting on the sides of the cars is due to the footage being emulated. This wasn't a thing in the base game. Although, as much as I like the game, I think it might have been hindered slightly by the freshly minted engine. Because, to my knowledge, this is the buggiest of the console Midnight Clubs. Notable bugs include the map often having very severe texture pop-in, with the player having to drive for seconds or in some cases a full minute before the level of detail in the textures would fix itself. Another somewhat common bug was where sometimes when entering the garage or cutscene areas, your car would shine with the light of 1,000 suns, and the online mode has basically always been filled with hackers and cheaters. Although, as of now, the only version of the game with working multiplayer is the Xbox 360 version and its subsequent porting to the Xbox One and Series X. But despite its relatively minor shortcomings on a purely mechanical level, it holds up amazingly well on just about all other fronts. The graphics, as mentioned before, were quite good, only beat by the game's immaculate atmosphere. I know I've mentioned it a lot in this video, but I really want to reiterate just how well Midnight Club 3 in LA craft a vibe that is nearly unmatched 15 years later. This vibe is also assisted by the soundtrack, which, and I'll probably get some flack for this, I personally think is better than Midnight Club 3's. There are just so many great artists on here like Kid Cudi, A$AP Rock, Nas, 9 Inch Nails, Beck, MGMT, Justice, Tech Nine, The Chemical Brothers.
Yeah, nah, bro.
Snoop Dogg, Wolfgang Gartner, and a bunch of others. Here's a few of my favorites. No hay manera de que puedas parar esto como un corrido. Ahora regresado con un nuevo sonido empezar a hacer en manera.
Oh! No, regular, go back. Switching lanes, nigga. Nigga, that whole hard. Oh, all these remixes. Hold on, Kyle, I got you.
I made some good friends that make me say I really wanna be in LA. Real nigga get his chain snatches back in the morning. Not by nightfall, might be all out warring. Why everybody out here rapping on killing sprees?
They got CJ in from San Andreas and shit, rapping and shit.
I actually first heard Kid Cudi, Tech Nine, MGMT, and Justice while playing this.
See what Colin said, man. See what Colin said. Y'all got y'all. Got y'all, nigga, man.
Shocked you didn't play A$AP.
Why the fuck I gotta play A$AP?
I actually first heard Kid Cudi, Tech Nine, MGMT, and Justice while playing this game for the first time. Another area this game excels at, which is often very poorly done in other racing games, often to comedic or ironically comedic levels, is the story.
I know it's on the soundtrack, doofus.
Now, sure, it's no Homer's Enemy, it's no Sopranos, it's no Breaking Bad, but especially compared to the string of overacted, underbaked Need for Speed stories we got around this time, this is surprisingly good. And no disrespect to those games, it just... if you don't have the nostalgia for them like I do, they do seem kind of...
Sit down! How you been?
See, shit like that, come on, bro.
Okay.
In terms of base gameplay,
that
there was also
weak-ass
some
shit
major
outta
changes
here.
between this and 3. The physics were changed dramatically, so now the cars feel a bit less twitchy when compared to 3. But that also means that they can feel a bit sluggish and difficult to drive in some corners, especially the heavier and older cars. Speaking
out
of
my
difficulty,
face, nigga.
I would probably describe this as the easiest of the 4 entries, but with 2 big caveats. One being that at launch, this game was much more difficult. Apparently so much so that Rockstar actually went on to patch the game to make it a bit easier.
Yo, I wish
And
they would
because I got
not
LA's
do that.
equivalent to 3's Remix Edition, this
Yo,
time
look,
called the
like,
Complete
bro,
Edition, that patch was already applied
listen,
when I started playing.
Fuck it. Yo, look, this is why, honestly, they be patching games to make a lot of games too easier now, bro. The thing is, yeah, the game's difficult. Fuck it. Yeah, the game difficult. 5. What's the over-under? Honestly, fuck the over-under. I'm going to do my thing. Yeah, they make the game difficult, but honestly, that leads to how legendary some of these games are, honestly, if we being honest. Like, later on, a lot of the games that we fuck would be like, man, dog, this game was hard as shit because this game was fire. Now, you remember how hard this was? You remember how this was? Like, I wish they would stop making a lot of these fucking games so damn easy. All right, keep it going.
And 2, this is the Midnight Club I have the most time with, so this is the one I'm most used to in terms of physics and mechanics. Although I also remember struggling a bit with it when I was a kid.
I agree,
They also
bro.
changed the abilities, so
Now, if
now
it's
instead of
crazy
having
glitches
the
where you
useless
can't
one,
beat it,
the useless one
I
that looks
get it.
cool, and zone, you
Boy,
now have a new
useless.
ability, EMP,
This nigga don't know what he's talking about. Let me go back.
which basically sends up the Midnight Club I have the most time, the useless struggling a bit with it when I was a kid. They also changed the abilities, so now instead of having the useless one that looks cool, and zone, you now have a new ability, EMP.
You ain't know how to play. You ain't know how to play the game. You ain't know how to play the game. You ain't know how to play the
Which
game.
basically sends a power surge through all the cars near you, and now you can apply any ability to any car instead of them being car type
I agree with
specific.
that.
Although many still
like
say
that.
zone is the best in LA, and it probably is, I think EMP can work depending on your driving style. Basically, zone is the best defensive ability, while EMP is the best offensive ability. They also overhauled the customization system, although not all the changes they made were positive. They got rid of most of the body customization options and replaced them with ones that were more unique.
Wide body.
But they also gave you a much better livery and paint editor, allowed you to apply a wide body kit to most cars, and even let you fully customize your
wide-body
interior,
Honda
which
is
is
kinda
still
crazy.
very impressive today. And you can show
wide-body
off those new
Toyota.
designs and body mods with one of the new multiplayer modes, Rate My Ride, which let the player look at other player-created designs and cars, as well as rate and buy a replica of them. This led to some interesting designs, if you can call it that, but as a whole, it was an interesting feature to add to the series.
Oh, that's hard.
Speaking of the multiplayer, this is actually the only game in the series that I've played the multiplayer for. I would
Bro,
show
I
you
spent
me
so
actually
much time
playing
on
it,
this
but
shit,
the only
bro.
footage I have of it is from October 2016.
Shout out to my dog.
And it looks like this.
Takeoff still be around, bro.
So I
We
guess
should
I'll just
play
show
this
others
shit.
online footage. The multiplayer as a whole was improved a bit between 8 and
Cuddy
3,
Mike just
but seeing as I'm
resubscribed
less
for
familiar with 3s, I
27
can't
months.
fully comment on it. What I can
Cuddy
say
Mike,
is
think
I
what's up,
did
man?
have some genuinely good racing with some of the players I ran into at that time, and even got to try some of the weird power-up events, which to me looked less like Midnight Club and more like rip-off Blur. And many of these lobbies were filled with
Niggas play
obnoxious
like
and abrasive
bitches
hackers
online,
who would
bro, I
usually just
swear,
shoot
bro.
themselves at you and teleport to the finish line rather than race. But that could also be down to the fact that I was playing this game nearly 8 years after its release, because at that point, it was pretty apparent that Rockstar had basically abandoned Midnight Club in any major capacity. Although at the time, all still seemed well for the first couple years after Midnight Club LA released. Immediately after the console release, we got another
I
PSP
got
game,
5
this
minutes,
time
y'all better
called
not.
Midnight Club LA Remix, which
Never played this.
is the best way to play Midnight Club on
Never
PSP.
played it.
And also is the only game in the series to not just feature Tokyo, but actually feature the Midnight Club street racers that the game is named after, and lets you race against them to be the best in Tokyo. And also like Midnight Club 3, LA
Yeah, it
got
might
its
be
own
good.
expanded version, this
I'm
time
out of
called LA Complete Edition, which came with its aforementioned difficulty patch, as well as a first for the series, a downloadable DLC. In this case being a map and story extension called South Central, which also included a solid handful of new cars, 2 new car types, and another soundtrack expansion. But this is actually where the problems for the series begin. In early January 2010, a large number of wives of Rockstar San Diego employees under the
El
pseudonym
Nino
Rockstar
just
Spouse
resubscribed
posted to the
for
Gamma
7
Sutra
months.
blogs alleging
I'm in
that
my
the working
mansion.
conditions of the company
Oops, my
had been
bad,
shit.
devilish face.
In early January 2010,
Yeah, thank
a
you, bro.
large number of wives of Rockstar
Uh-oh,
San
y'all
Diego
might be in
employees
trouble.
under the pseudonym Rockstar Spouse posted to the Gama Sutra blogs alleging that the working conditions of the company had been sharply declining over the last year. This also happened to coincide with when the studio's main projects were the South Central expansion for Midnight Club and the upcoming release of Red Dead Redemption. This wasn't super widely covered at the time, but this is strongly linked to some of the studio's more established talent leaving around that time, many of whom were instrumental in the development of Midnight Club LA, and were in the process of developing Midnight Club 5. But at the time, very few people thought anything was awry at the company, and assumed the new Midnight Club was just a few years away like it had always been after the last one. But in the years that would follow, different factors led to the development of Midnight Club 5 stopping indefinitely, the biggest one being the absolutely insane success of GTA 5. If you look at Rockstar's release schedule leading up to GTA 5, you'll see that they started increasing production as they acquired more studios in the early 2000s, then were very slowly decreasing production heading into the 2010s as games became larger and harder to develop on 7th gen consoles. Then GTA 5 came out, and they haven't done a single other full release since, not including ports with the exception of Red Dead Redemption 2. And it's not like they did it for no reason. GTA 5 was and still is one of the most profitable games ever made, becoming the second best-selling game of all time, only behind Minecraft. But I don't even know if Minecraft is as straight up profitable as GTA 5, because with the modern monetization practices that are in that game, I can see the argument to be made that GTA is the more profitable one. And those monetization practices are half of the reason why I'm not sure a Midnight Club 5 would be good even if we did get it. The other half being Rockstar's reputation in the last few years, especially when it comes to how they treat their most beloved older titles. Just look at Red Dead 1 on Switch or the GTA Remastered trilogy, for example. When I asked you guys whether or not you thought a new Midnight Club game would ever happen, I got a resounding no, which, looking at the state of Rockstar and to an extent racing games in general,
I honestly doubt that we will
we're never going to see
another
Midnight
Midnight Club.
Which is a bit unfortunate, but I can't say that's entirely a bad thing. Because a series like Midnight Club is one of those that's basic premise works
Hold on, wait a
best
minute,
when
nigga. I done
paired with
waited
the
years
trends
for
of the
that.
day.
I ain't wishing on that downfall.
As we've seen from
Wait a
surviving
minute now.
competitors trying that exact thing, even if not executed perfectly, racing game fans in general weren't the most receptive to it. So I think that if we did get a new Midnight Club built like how the old ones were, there wouldn't be as much of a market for it. Unless it was so much like the originals that it pulls a GTA San Andreas and takes place a decade and a half before the game's release. But I am personally fine with just having the great games we got, because they still have so much to offer today. And to those who haven't played them, you have to try these games, because we may never see its light.
Yeah, Red Dead Online
was the
Red Dead Online had it.
And you say Shot City?
All right, video done. Y'all got
Shot
it.
City? Shot City.
I ain't gonna lie, the under one. I didn't try to. I ain't tried to. W video was a W video though.
I met this girl when I was 3 years old.
Yo, W video. Go ahead and pay them niggas out, bro. Listen, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, bro. Yeah, bro, like
Brando4X just resubscribed for 14 months.
In the video, Gang said that if another Midnight Club come out, he don't think that nigga forced it. No, I didn't. Scam, you cheated us. No, I did not. He said, like, honestly, this is my thought process on it. That game is now in like the urban legend category, like do I put it? Where shit, even if it wasn't that big back then, the people that played it have hyped it up so much, and they made other people that might have not played it at the time go back and start playing their game. Or like even if they didn't go back and played it, people be like, you know what, that shit was legendary. If it ever comes out again, I'll try it. So I think that game is on that same category to where a lot of niggas probably didn't play that game, but you already know how niggas is when it comes to hype. And they let that game get so fucking big. Like, it's crazy. I can't think of nothing right now, but that happens all the time, bro. Cult classes, yes, that happens all the fucking time to where something might not be big, but all of a sudden it go crazy. Like when they put out a new version of it, because of the hype that the community has for it, it goes crazy. They do this shit a lot in media, bro, a lot. All right, Need for Speed. I'm not really like tied into the Need for Speed to tell you like in a good example. All right, but that was a good reaction. I fucked with that. But coaches, I understand what you're saying when you say like how they did GTA, how they did Red Dead Online, bro. Yeah, bro, the success of GTA 5 pisses me off so much because they just lost sight of everything, nigga. Red Dead Online could have been successful, but honestly, I don't give a fuck about online though. Shout out to them. They abandoned it because of how much money 5 was making. Like, but y'all didn't even put no effort into it, gang. Y'all put that first shit out and didn't do no extra DLCs, no fire game modes, the game modes on there. Nah, bro. Y'all clearly didn't try on that shit, bro. And then what makes me hate GTA 5 the most is GTA 5 is the death of Grand Theft Auto Story DLC. Let me show you what I just downloaded today, gang. I love when we talk video games, bro. I love when we talk video games, nigga. I downloaded the GTA Complete Edition. In this, you have the Lost and Damned, and you have the Ballad of Gay Tony DLC. Do you know how good both of these fucking DLCs were? Do you know how these fucking DLCs were like that, nigga? Also, too, these were not DLCs. They sold these as individual games. But, yo, this was a fucking good game. Yeah, it's honestly, if we're being honest, this is a DLC that they sold as an individual game. But at the same time, they gave us more story. It's fire. We fucked with these, right? Vice City story. Came out years after the game. But at the same time, another fucking good game. This technically I'm gonna qualify this as DLC. Another solid motherfucking game. What the fuck is that? Oh, solid game. What is the GTA 5 version of this? Where is it? There isn't one, bro. They put the story shit online. They put the story shit. I remember they had a trailer talking about some story. It was for some online shit. Get out of here, bitch. Shit was trash. They had Dr. Dre in it. Watch somebody show the trailer. What the fuck? The Dr. Dre expansion was fun. It's for online. I don't want to do that shit online, nigga. This not the one that I seen years ago. Boo fucking who? You see, let me tell you what. You want to know why the reason why GTA trash? Because the niggas like this nigga. The FOTQ nigga, Quano, that nigga, he's the reason why the game ass. He's the reason why the game ass. Matter of fact, you want to know about this nigga? This nigga like Icon, nigga. You disqualified from game conversations, nigga. You're done. Nigga, you like Icon. You don't know what good games is, nigga. No gaming palette is cooked. Your gaming palette is cooked, nigga. Nigga says so. That tell me everything we need to know, nigga. Nigga cooked. that nigga got it. You know, you almost got me right there, my boy. Let's keep it going.
I guess it was the weather.
Dog, every time they be like, oh shit, it's rumored a new GTA trailer. And then all of a sudden it's time to come on.
Why did I move here?
Let me tell you why I ain't fucking with this shit. Because years later, when they shut down the server on these, you can't go back to play these. It's done. How you gonna play these? Am I lying? Am I lying? You know these servers ain't gonna stay on forever. They're done.
What I tell you about all that cussing. And you posted to be watching your blood pressure. Go outside and pick that switch.
Get out here, Granny.
I like this.
Dickies on.
What was that in 93?
You probably wasn't even born.
Dre, I think you need to trade Crazy, bro.
What's happening, dog? I'm Lamar Davis. I'm sure my colleagues have told you about me.
Weed through the weed smoke. Trees where my seeds grow. Let them try to press, get shot like a freak.
Bro, this online shit, that shit ruining games, bro. No cap, bro. It's ruining games, bro. And niggas, I ain't gonna lie, I got so many niggas in here telling me that shit heat, like I'm wilding. I'm not saying the shit wasn't good. I'm saying, nigga, we need offline DLC before we get the online shit in GTA. In GTA, 100%.
What? 100%. What? What?
What the fuck is your problem? That's what. What the fuck is your problem? That's what, nigga. That's what. All right, we can move on from that though. Nigga, you sound you about to cry. Tighten up. No. Now what? Now what, nigga? All right then. It seems like we're here, and I'm gonna stay here, nigga. You niggas the reason why GTA ain't come out in fucking 12 years. Fucking this shit is trash now, nigga. Oh my God, bro. See, the problem that I have, nigga, I was there when I seen the GTA San Andreas get released. When I seen them niggas dropping Max Payne.
I'ma make you feel my breeze till you go froze. This bitch, she wanna fuck me and she taking off her clothes. Take that pussy, make her go to sleep. No, so
yeah, we're gonna get you up out of here. Y'all niggas is wild, you know. What the hell is you talking about? Trust the process. Fuck the process. The process should never take 15 years, nigga. Hey, I was there when Bully got released. Y'all telling me y'all niggas cool with us not getting no GTA game for the past 15 years besides Red Dead 2? LA Noire, nigga. What are we talking about, nigga? Rockstar was the GOAT, nigga. Them niggas was up there top tier. And the only reason why they not there is just from not doing that.